Welcome, everybody. It is March 12th, and thank you for joining in on today's meeting. Our featured program is the March of the Mentor Advisory Panel. We have a fabulous panel of mentors for our meeting today. The discussion of our tips from the mentors or Ask a Mentor will involve an engaging discussion from the pros. The mentors will address what they are looking for when judging a competition or an exhibition, as well as commenting on techniques and tips on how to improve yourself as a visual and creative artist. We will be welcoming Desmond O'Hagan, Chuck Kovacic, Dory Dewberry, and Bernard Allen. Thank you to those who sent questions in advance. If you have any questions, and this is important, that you would like to have discussed, please write them in the chat. That's the part that's important. Any question is important. The discussion panel will start at the end of our general meeting, and hopefully we'll have additional time for any questions, Q&A time. Your questions are important not only to you, but also to others in the society, because you don't know what question you might ask that somebody was maybe, they didn't even know that that was a question to ask and you've answered it for them. So please ask away. And please do put them in the chat. Upcoming events. Well, I want you to continue to keep your eyes out for our Theme Thursday announcements. The next Theme Thursday is scheduled for March 24th, 2022 at the usual time, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Our fabulous David Del Bianco will be hosting his theme of Furry Friends. And it is, I believe, a one-year anniversary of themed events. Bring your own beverages and snacks and your delightful conversation. Heads up, Margie Murray has ensured continued fun on the second and the fourth Thursday of the month of April, and May's schedule is yet to be determined. We've just had an exciting Theme Thursday with Otto. Creating the narrative was the story of the evening. I'm sorry if you missed it, but you will have an opportunity to review it on YouTube when that gets uploaded. But we had a lot of fun during the creating the narrative. More dates will be scheduled for our Theme Thursdays, and continuously, please visit the website for current information. We look forward to entertaining any suggestions for a Theme Thursday, and please contact Margie Murray, or you can contact me and I'll get the information to Margie for suggestions. IEPS is also coming up, not too far away. Have you registered, reconsidered, think you might be going? Sign up for classes, secure your lodging. Those dates are June 21st through June 26th. And we are presently working on a theme for our IEPS. What is the name of that meeting, Lynn? It is it's the costume. What is that night? Festival night?
It's called Friday Night Fiesta.
Okay.
And all the societies get together and they have a table with information and everybody dresses up according to the theme of their society. It's super fun.
So we're going to be discussing this very soon, and hopefully those that are attending IEPS will be able to participate in what we think would be a very memorable IEPS. Wow, do you believe it? The next time that we will be meeting will be at our 13th annual member show. Yes, plan on being in the show, being at the show. Bring your friends and your families. We have a special treat, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, Chris, are you on? Chris Stillians, exhibition chair. Has anybody seen Chris?
Yes, yes.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
It's your turn. I would like to, everybody, if you don't know, this is Chris Stillians. He is our chair of exhibitions, and he's got a few things he'd like to reach out to you today with.
Okay, yeah, as I'm sure all of you know by now that our member show is coming up, and I want to talk to you about a couple of things with this. And Kath, can you hook me up and share my screen?
Let's see. Now to do that,
I think he just needs to share the screen because we made screen sharing available.
Can you just try, what is it allowing you to do it? Chris?
Wait, I'm sorry, what's that?
Are you able to share? You should have the power to share right now.
Oh, oh yeah, I see right here. I think I can do that. I guess. Let's see, screen, okay.
Here we go.
Oh, whoops. Okay. wait a second.
How familiar that always is. Oh, good.
What?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, wait here. Okay. Okay. Can you see this calendar?
Yes.
It's little.
It's little.
Now I
Yeah.
got it.
Okay.
Okay, good. Now it's
Oh,
good.
still? Okay. This is this month, right? And you can see that we are we are open for entries through online juried shows through the 31st. That's when entry closes. The next month is April. And on Saturday, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, at some point, Stan Spurlack is going to juror all the submitted entries. And once I know that he's finished with that, then Online Juried Shows is going to send out an email to everybody that entered and tell you which of your paintings were accepted and which ones weren't. You're all guaranteed at least one painting to be accepted, but more than likely you'll have others because we're all so good, right? So then once this has happened, there's going to be a couple of weeks where you have plenty of time to get your stuff framed and get it ready for take-in, which is on April 23rd. On the evening of the 23rd, our esteemed judge Otto Stirk is going to judge our entries. Then and in the process, this will happen after we hang everything. Then we will have our show open on Wednesday, the 27th at 11 o'clock. The show hours are from 11 to 5. We are going to need docents to work the show on each one of those days, Wednesday through Sunday. And last time we had 2-hour units, 3 2-hour units to work each day. This time we're going to have 2 time periods for 3 hours each, basically the morning and the afternoon. And if I were you, when you start signing up for this stuff, if you're going to come up there, you might as well stay the whole day, right? I mean, that's what I would do, but that's up to you. Or you can share it with other people. You can work it out however you want, but we are going to need docents to work the show. The show is going to go through the 22nd. It ends on Sunday. You can start picking up your paintings at 5 o'clock on Sunday at the end of the show for, I think we'll be there for an hour or two. Then on Monday and Tuesday, you can pick up your paintings also. And then we are done. So we are going to, hang on a second. Got to get out of here. Uh-oh. How do I get out of this screen?
Oh,
Stop sharing.
Yeah, hang on a second. I'm going to stop sharing and get back to something here. Okay. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. I'm going back. Oh, you can't see that. Hang on a second. Got to screen share again. Wait. Can you see that?
no, not yet.
Hang on a second. Oh, wait.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay. These are different areas that we need help in. Publicity and promotions, take in, take out, clean up.
Okay.
Well, clean up to get ready for the show and clean up at the end of the show. Hanging the show, awards and prizes, the reception, sponsorships and fundraising, and gallery decor, setting up all the fun stuff like we did last time with the mannequins and stuff. Okay, so I do have some people already signed up. I have Bernard Fallon, Sue Kusame, Dory Dewberry, Robin Angelides, Mike Ishikawa, Virginia Cami, Linda Leifer, Margie Murray. So we've got a lot of help, but we need more. And I would like to ask you, if you are willing to help, to email me. I'm going to give you my email in a minute, and tell me that you want to help and what you want to do. And I will send you a copy of this calendar so you know what all the dates are. And a list of the different things that you need to do, or we need you to do, or whatever. And but we can work it out, whatever you want to do. You can do the whole deal as far as the committee goes, or a piece of it, or whatever. So my email is CMS, that's Charlie Man Sam, the word design, and the photo, PHOTO, at AOL.com, ancient history. So that's pretty much it. And I look forward to hearing from you helpers. And it's going to be a great show.
Can I just say one thing? I want to thank Chris, because Chris stepped up to be our exhibition chair a year or more ago, maybe a couple years now. And we had the most fantastic event in the fall with our exhibition at the Promenade on the Peninsula. Got great accolades from the community and from artists and other people. So we usually have a spring show, but we had to push it to the fall last year. So it seems quick that we're doing another one, but really we're supposed to be doing a spring show every year. And so that's why we're doing it again at the same place. And I do want to encourage everybody to volunteer, because it takes a lot of people to put on a show. And we also want to encourage everybody to enter. And the reception is going to be phenomenal. You're going to talk more about the reception, I'm sure, on the 30th. Thanks, Chris.
Great.
Our fearless leader.
Thank you, Chris. And if you would go ahead into the chat and put your website, the CMS design at AOL.com.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That would be very helpful. And it doesn't seem like we just did it. We actually just did it. So we're all feeling it on your on the board, as far as the turnaround time has been accelerated to be able to try and make each show better than the one before. And we had a new venue, we had new things that we challenges that were put before us, and we met them, and we can even do it better this time. But it really does take even small increments of help to be able to make it even better this time. The amount of response that we got from the community and people that hadn't been exposed to pastel before, we're trying to put our name on the map as far as pastel as the medium, the go-to medium, and it deserves a spot on people's walls, just like the watercolors and the oil paintings are. And we're all a part of this. And the reason why you are part of the society is that you want to work in the pastel world. So let's continue and get the exposure going. Now, as far as sponsorship, we are looking for additional sponsors for the 13th annual member show. If you have or know any businesses or individuals that would like to contribute to the show, they just may have some excess funds, small amounts even are very, very helpful. Please reach out to me. I will be happy to help obtain funding for an exciting show. Donations of any size are always helpful, as of our wine, water, and other beverages, ice, flowers, decorations, all help to create a festive atmosphere for all, including the collectors. So it's not just the fact that we're putting on a show, but we've got an appearance to make for the public that walks in to view the show. And we want to give them an impression that will leave them wanting to come back for more and to reach out. As many of you may know, that Joe Kearns had donated $500, which will be ongoing for 6 years, in honor of his wife, Carol, to sponsor the Best in Show prize. And there'll be more details to follow. I mean, that's quite a great bit of sponsorship that he generously donated to the society. During the show, we're going to do something that hasn't been done before. We are bringing our quick sketch that we weren't able to do in January to the show this year. And we also have, so that's the opportunity raffle. It's here. Dory Dewberry is our master organizer for this exciting event to take place during the reception and award ceremony. Please bring your friends and engage in this opportunity to take home a painting by one or more of our celebrated artists that will be graciously donating their skills and expertise while unfolding the drama of creating a painting in front of an engaging audience. So we need people there. Bring them. Whether we'll have music, that's still in the works. I don't know if, I don't want there to be too much activity going on, because I want people to be able to enjoy the show, enjoy the artists doing their quick sketch, get the public and our membership engaged. and without maybe too many distractions. So we'll be working on that. Communications. Lynn, would you like to say anything about communications?
Yes, I just hope everyone's receiving their emails. You're getting a lot of them because the society is very active right now. You're getting Theme Thursday emails, you're getting meeting emails, you're going to be getting more about the show and how to enter and for volunteering. So please keep looking at your emails from PSSC. You can always email us back at info@psscwebsite.org. I'll put that in the chat. If you have any questions, want to volunteer, want to help out. And the website, Loopy's been doing a fantastic job keeping the website up to date as well. So that's psscwebsite.org. And Lupe, I don't know if you have anything you want to say about the website, but we're just trying to keep everything current for you all during this digital time. And everything you need should be there. Also, Facebook and Instagram, we're pushing posts to that. Lupe, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, that was next on my agenda.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Lupe. I know you're here. I saw her. Well, in the meantime, I will say check the PSSC website.org and the calendar for information regarding the schedule of Theme Thursdays, as the calendar is updated as soon as the host and the theme have been finalized. Also posted on the website are notices of upcoming workshops and demos so that you may take advantage of other learning opportunities and competitions in the world of pastels. Look for exciting information about paint-ins and class opportunities at Destination Art. Otto also has information posted regarding his UArt sponsored workshop, which is ongoing April 21st through the 23rd, but you'll be able to receive all that information at on the website. And I do know that this morning Lupe was able to post up the event of classes for Destination Art regarding the paint-ins that occur on Tuesday on a monthly basis. So you can hear about it here, and then there's always the website to go to refresh your memory as to what's going on. Now, workshops is coming up next, and Maureen, I know you have some great news for us.
Yeah, hi. We've got a few things still on the schedule for this year. We have Liz Haywood Sullivan coming up at the end of the month. That workshop is sold out. The subject is painting clouds and skies in pastel. And we're looking forward to having her here. I think she's looking forward to coming out to California as well. So, and then the next thing on our docket is a workshop with two instructors, with Julie and Michael Freeman. It's called Mastering Animals, and that will be in July. They're scheduled for July 6th through the 8th. And as I said, both of them are going to be teaching, and the price on that workshop, so the price on that workshop will be a little higher. They are coming in from New Zealand, and they'll be here for IAPS, and then they'll be coming to put on their workshop for us. Both of them are what you would call, they work in the realism genre, but their work is like eye-popping. And from everyone who saw their workshops at the last IAPS convention, they are very dynamic and engaging teachers. So I would encourage you to put this on your list, your short list of workshops you'd like to attend. And they have said that their techniques will work for anyone. They're welcome beginners, and even if you paint in other mediums, you can translate what you learn with them into those mediums. So, and then we were luckily able to reschedule Lynn Celta's workshop for September. That is going to be on September 29th and 30th, and we'll be on Zoom. Because she had to cancel that workshop due to a family situation, we're going to give everyone who was previously enrolled in that workshop first dibs on re-enrolling. And then once we know, they'll have a fixed period to enroll. And then if there are any spots unclaimed at that point, we'll offer them up to other members and then to the public. So you might want to put that on your list of things to watch for, just in case a spot does become available. And then right now I'm talking to two people for next year. I don't want to mention who they are until we've confirmed, but I hope to firm that up this coming week. So things are moving forward, and everybody's very excited that we're no longer in lockdown. So.
Well, great job, Maureen. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of work and planning that goes into putting on these workshops, and we all, those of us that are able to get into the workshops, feel the benefit of it over and over. So thank you very much. Membership, at this point, our membership has been stable. There's been no change from this month to January. Renewal notices will be going out for the next fiscal year. Is that in May, Lynn, that we'll start seeing reminder notices for
Usually around in May. Yeah.
And the PSSC fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th. So it's not January, and everybody, sometimes we get people going ahead and renewing, which we love, but it actually is a July through June fiscal year. Paint-ins, we mentioned that Destination Art has information in the blog section on our website. But Margaret, I saw that you put something in the chat. Is there anything else you'd like to add for us?
Yes, I'd just like to let you know that
I'm not sure.
Can you guys hear me? I heard some crosstalk.
That was my
there.
Siri. I think it wanted to speak for you.
Oh, okay.
I shut her off.
We have Paula Vukmanik has joined the Destination Art team, and she will be there on the second Tuesday of the month at the paint-in, which is traditionally what we've had paint-ins with Pastel Society going back from the early days of the Pastel Society, and we really hope to revive that tradition now that we are no longer in a COVID era. And Paula was part of the group that helped to reestablish the California Art Club way back at the beginning with Peter Adams and Bernard, you may know her.
Yes.
And Paula is a very lovely person, has a lovely way about her, and she's expert both in pastels and oils. So she will be there to mentor from 10 a.m. to noon on those paint-in days. And so I really hope you'll come and take advantage of that. But also just wanted to mention that we do specialize in pastel classes at Destination Art, and do have an opening come up for the Tony Elaine workshop, May 5th and 6th, and Joe Mancuso has just opened a 2-day workshop. So I put the URL there in the chat, and check out the website. It's easy to register for the classes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Margaret. And I encourage people to continue in their education and reach out, because it is the opportunities to progress and learn some new skills are available, and we want to make it easy for you to be able to access that information. As far as paintouts, Bernard,
Kath, can I just jump in?
Sure.
For one thing, there's an outfit. We have there's an outfit in Santa Barbara called Atelier Nelson, and she has sent notice that she is also hosting Liz Haywood Sullivan after our workshop. So it would be the early part of April, and she still has some openings in one of those workshops. I've sent the information to Lupe, but I also believe that it's come in through our website as well. So if it should be posted on our website so that if people are interested, they can check it out.
Thank you, Maureen. That's also very good to know, because
Yeah.
Linda Nelson owns, is it what, Natural Pigments up there, the name of her company. So I haven't been to that space. Have you?
I have not either. I think that she uses a church space up there. So,
Okay. Well, that'll be, I'd like to check out.
And one more thing, I forgot about this. We have to set up for the Haywood Sullivan workshop, the day before the workshop, which is a Wednesday. And I have lost my chief setup assistant because he got a full-time job. So we need some people to help us set up, because we're going to be putting up individual tables for everybody.
What date was that? It was
March 30th. So,
Okay. I'll get back to you on that. I might be able to come out and help you with all of that, but if anybody else is available and in the area.
yeah, that afternoon would be a good
Yeah,
time.
the afternoon.
If you are available, you can contact me or
Right.
even Robin Kirk.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. Great. Bernard with paint outs.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to propose Saturday, the 26th of March at Abalone Cove Shoreline Park. If there's any objections to that because there's something else happening, let me know. But it's free parking if you're 62 or over, and there's good facilities there. And on the upper level, there's a couple of very good views. And if you feel a bit more adventurous, you can actually go down onto the beach. And there's other good views from there. So I'm proposing Saturday the 26th. And if you want to contact me directly, please do so.
Right. And so Bernard, I believe your information is also on the website, but if you wouldn't mind going ahead and putting your email into the chat. And
Yes.
that way, please sign up for Bernard's email list, because then you will get notices as they come up for opportunities to go out and do some plein air painting, which we'll be talking about a little bit when we have our mentors coming on.
Right.
Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you.
Merchandising and promotions, Marty, are you with us today?
I just wanted to just jump in just real quick, because that Bernard said, unless there's anything else happening that day, that is the date of Mike Ishikawa's workshop on changing light at Destination Art, but so it's up to you.
Well, I could move it forward to Saturday, the 2nd of April. Is there anything happening on that date? Speak
Maybe
now
Michael-
or forever hold your peace.
Maybe Mike will then be available to join you on paint out.
Yeah,
Isn't
that'd
that
be
the
good.
workshop? Bernard, isn't that the workshop?
Yeah, that's Liz Haywood Sullivan's workshop,
The
isn't
last
it?
day of her workshop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Then it's also the first day of Ramadan. According to my calendar, how about the 9th of April at Abalone Cove, Shoreline Park?
Anybody see something coming up?
What time would it be, Bernard?
I would say 9:30 for a couple of hours. It's not instructional, but I would be there for a couple of hours. And if someone does need help setting up, it might be windy, that sort of thing. Bring an umbrella, but if it's too windy, you have to lower it, because the umbrella will take you, your work, and everything else, your car, your life savings.
I want to see Mary Poppins.
So 9th of April.
Just put it in.
All right, it's 9th of
Either
April,
show up. March 9th.
March the 9th. Abalone Cove, Shoreline Park.
April 9th. Yeah, not March 9th. Okay.
Oh, April the 9th.
Yes, and
Okay.
Bernard, maybe a MailChimp to everyone would be great, so you and I can work together on that.
Yeah, I'll contact you, Lynn, about doing that.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Merchandising and promotions, Marty, you are here. Hi, Marty.
Hi, how are
So
you?
we have something exciting that's going to happen at the end of our meeting today. What do you have?
Yes, we do. I have the names of everybody at this meeting and who registered. And I've cut them up into little pieces. And I'm going to pull 4 names, and everybody who I pull, the 4 names, will get a $25 gift certificate to Dakota Art Pastels.
Oh,
So
great.
hopefully you're a winner.
And also, Marty, they have to be present on the screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They have to be here at the end of the meeting when I do this.
The end of the meeting.
Okay, thanks.
So
That's
if I
right.
pull a name and they're not here, I'm throwing it in the trash.
That's right. And we have 44 people on in the chat right now. So your odds are really good.
Yep.
Okay, showcase of members' work. Anyone wanting to share their experience or their paintings of the past Theme Thursdays? I haven't noticed a whole lot of people painting during our Theme Thursdays. We've just been so engaged in what's been going on with the conversation. But it doesn't have to be what you did during Theme Thursday. It could be what you've done and share it with us. Can you believe that we've had 4 of them since the last general meeting? Did you pick up a new skill? Did you make a new friend? Glenn Maxian kept us memorized with his approach to painting portraits and setting the scene. 32 people gained new insight into the creative, thoughtful mind during Whimsy. To recap what's happened, January 27th, Margie hosted Expressions of Love. And February 10th, Glenn showed us how to work from a photograph. February 24th, Lynn got us into the brain thinking of Whimsy. It's all been good. It's all been good. And then if you weren't here last Thursday when Otto gave a great presentation on creating the narrative, we had just a ton of fun. The attendance is growing on Theme Thursday. We welcome all of you to join us and have a great time. Let's see. Bernard, we wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that you had wanted photographs to be submitted to you so that you would be able to work up a portfolio for future promotional material. Did you want to say something about that?
Yes, basically, I thought that if any of the members worldwide have won a prize for their work, we would love to see it. And not only could we put it on our website, but we might have it as a portfolio to use for promotional purposes. For an upcoming event, an upcoming show of some sort, and I don't necessarily mean honorable mentions, although sometimes they're really terrific too. But in general, top. If one of our members has won a first, second, or third at the local pastel society level, or maybe they've entered another competition with another pastel society, or it could be a general society. It does not have to be, strictly speaking, a pastel society.
Shoffley's going downhill.
She says, hard to believe, but I got a photo of the.
Are we back, Bernard?
Yes, I'm back. I'm just listening to some.
Yeah, I muted whoever that was. Okay.
Well, there are so many people in the world, someone else has to speak.
So basically what you're saying, it does not have to be a pastel competition. It can be an art competition, but the medium is in pastel.
Yes, so it could be the theme was water for some competition. And if you've done a pastel of water, please, and you've won something, let us know, because, everyone can gain from your experience is what we're saying. And then we could, I'm sure, find a spot on the website to show some of these, not necessarily all of them or everything, but, the committee, whoever's in charge at the particular time, could select something out. So need to know any more? Just see if you've won something.
That's great. I hope that you start, your inbox becomes active with potential photographs for use in.
And of course, you can go back a few years.
Great, great.
So, yeah.
Are there any questions? Go ahead and put those, go ahead and unmute and let us know if you have any questions about that.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, I want to revisit again the discussion that we had regarding the Memorial Library. We received a generous donation of books from Joe Kearns to start our Memorial Lending Library. And this was from Carol's. I don't think he knew what was even in there. So we have, I have quite a few shelves filled up with books. Other members have mentioned that they have books that they would be willing to donate to the library also. I am currently storing the books at my house, and I'm looking for a chair and more volunteers to help catalog the books and attach labels to the inside of the books. The library hopefully will be stored and available for lending to our members at our meetings at the church, the RUMC. This would be a great time to help your society in its mission of education. And this isn't like a year-long project. This is, you've got some time and you want to have some fun. We'll have a cataloging day. And of course, we're going to do this after the award ceremony. So it won't happen before April 30th, sometime in May, maybe. So please send in your volunteer, that you're willing to at least be, notified and put onto the committee, and we'll keep track of the names and have somebody who decides that they want to be chair, go ahead and reach out to you and set up a date and time that works for everybody, okay? So I hope to see some activity in that direction. And I mentioned before, Joe had donated $1,000 that was going to be matched by a 2-to-1 grant by the Ford Family Foundation for a total of $3,000. And quote, as Carol was a devoted member and officer of the society, in her honor, I would like the award to be named the Carol Kearns Memorial Award for Best in Show, end quote. The winner will be awarded $500. So we are extremely grateful for Joe to help us remember Carol with the funding for this award and to instigate our new lending library. Does anybody have any questions so far? It looks like we're doing very well on time. I just was wanting, just so that you know the timeline, I was hoping to be able to be done, and I'm almost done with my portion of the general meeting, so that our mentors will be able to start signing on in about 10 minutes, 7 minutes or so. And so we can take maybe a 5-minute break before we get started with them, and we'll be going on to the next portion of our meeting. Our next general meeting is scheduled for May 14th at RUMC. We're going to do it in person unless something tells us that we're not. So right now we're planning this to be a live event, and I guess there's somebody out there that will make it a hybrid event and do Zoom. So those of you who cannot join us and whatnot, you'll be able to join us via Zoom. It's an important meeting. We will be voting on your next PSSC board for 2022, 2023. Do I have that right, Lynn? Yes, okay, I saw you say yes. Okay. Please reach out to any board member or myself if you would like to be on the board or be part of that or be part of a committee. It does take a village to make this wonderful society, the society that it is. We continue to grow, we continue to get better. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned, and we'd love you to be more of a part of it. So come on out and help us. Stay tuned, stay in touch, reach out and call somebody you haven't spoken to or haven't seen on the Zoom meetings or the theme Thursdays. Take a moment to catch up and keep painting. So I'm going to open this up for general discussion because we do have a few minutes. Please feel free to unmute and talk about what's going on. And I know that Chris had a question about framing or glass or sending something early on.
That could be for the mentors, right? She said, can I read it out loud? Or is Chris, do you want to, Chris?
Christine Overs. Chris, you need to unmute, hon.
Oh, she's trying. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying.
There you
Okay,
go.
I think
Okay.
I'm here now. Okay. Yeah, no, I have no problem with saying it online. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to share whatever of that question and also the answer.
Oh, that was the question.
So it's for the panel.
mentors?
It's for the panel, yeah. So
Oh, for the panel. Oh, I'm sorry. Great.
yeah,
Thank you very
anybody
much.
else has
I'll let
questions?
you ask that. I'll let you ask that at the panel. Great.
Hey, Kat,
Yes.
I have a question.
And who's that?
Linda.
Okay. Hi, Linda.
In terms of food for the general meeting, when we come back to reality, how do people feel about real food versus everything packaged like it has been? Because I'd like to reintroduce, real food instead of just, whatever I can get wrapped up.
I like real food.
Chris goes for real food, and so does Bob, right? Were you about to say something, Bob, there?
Oh, I got a charge out of that. I thought that was really something else there.
Does anybody have an exception to going out and having the display buffet like we used to? This would be a good time to, let's see, I've got some people with raised hands on these.
And I'm also thinking of doing that for the reception for the art show, for our art show. Instead of just having everything that's specialty made to just pick up, you know. So that's just my question out to everybody.
Good idea.
Real food.
Real
I vote
food.
real food.
Yes.
You know, I think if it becomes like a little bit of a concern or whatever, we might then
I'll have both.
we might want to investigate, maybe somebody's there serving people, you know, on plates or something, if that becomes an issue. But I think,
Yeah.
I hope we'll be okay.
I mean, I'll have a little of both so that, you know, if someone doesn't want to take, you know, I'd like to bring bagels again, you know, the good bagels from up here. So.
That's great.
We love you, Linda. We love the food. We love you, Margie and Linda.
Great job, guys.
We love the bagels.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, well.
the best?
And you know, while we're talking about that, Margie is basically stepping back from hospitality, and I'm going to need somebody else, but I'm looking for someone who lives down in your neck of the woods, because I need someone who's able to show up and start coffee and that kind of stuff that I can't do because, you know, it's so far away from me. So, because I wanted to be ready. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there if someone's interested.
And that would really go part and parcel with the fact that, yeah, so somebody was mentioning that they wanted to have a hybrid meeting, and yes, we are doing that. So there are little ways that you can help the society without, you know, giving your life away. And believe me, on the board, we're not giving our lives away, but there is a dedication to making this society run as smoothly as it does, and working on any of the kinks that come along the way. And it is fun to be involved and get to know your fellow artist on a more consistent basis, because you are involved. And the coffee maker is a real important person. So please reach out to Linda or myself. Again, we have ways to be able to get you to the right people for your volunteer opportunities. And Margie, you have your hand up. Are you still waiting in the wings with a question?
I am. I was wondering if it would be possible. This is just an idea to float to everybody. I thought it might be nice if at the end of the theme Thursday, or possibly with the paint out paintings, that we did a online show with an opportunity for people to purchase the paintings.
Are you talking about Make Your Mark? Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Theme Thursday.
Oh, Theme Thursday.
So paint outs, it'd be a separate thing. And it could be on jury's shows, which is a lot less expensive. Or it could be on online.
Well, she's throwing out a new idea.
Mhm.
I think all of us are looking for opportunities now to sell our work.
Good
Okay.
idea.
Great. So that's something I've written that down, and we'll bring that up at not tomorrow's board meeting, which is about exhibition, but we'll do that for our meeting, our next regular meeting in April. So we'll bring that up, Margie, so we can develop that a little bit further. And let's see, anything else going on in the chat here that I see? So Margaret,
Sorry,
what are you saying in here?
I can't type, but I was trying to say, we just because Margie was talking about online purchasing, and we do that quite regularly at Destination Art. And so just want to invite anyone who wants to become a gallery artist to check that out, because we offer that all the time. So just want to mention it.
Okay, and Leandra had asked that I post my email address in there, and you can reach me at kath@vifagallery.com. Or you can reach anything you put into info at the PSSC website. You're trying to contact through the website. I do get that notice, including some other board members that receive it. So that's another way to be able to communicate with us through the website. So we do read those messages as they come through. And it is a quarter to 11 right now. And so what I'd like to do is give you an opportunity for about a 5-minute break. And so that we can come back, get your refreshment and settle in. And we're going to have our wonderful panel that will be joining us and sharing their mentorship. And it's a great opportunity because we do have the show coming up, and you might be able to pick up some tips that might have you reevaluate the art that you're doing. You might be perfectly satisfied with what it is that you're submitting, or there might be some tips that you can pick up, especially Bernard will be talking about photography in that aspect of it. And if we also have our Make Your Mark show that will be coming up in July, I believe it is. So there's another show coming up right around the corner, which is a little bit easier to deal with. Anyway, how about a 5-minute break, and I'll see you back here in 5 minutes.
It was there.
Gather back, bring your drinks.
Has it been 5 minutes?
Your food.
Hi,
It
David.
is. I put the timer on. I know that Desmond is in the room. Hello, Desmond.
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to the Pastel Society of Southern California. And I know we have Bernard here. I saw Dory earlier and has Chuck signed on.
Hey,
Chuck in the room.
Chuck, are you in the room?
Margie, do you see Chuck? Oh, well, he's off camera and muted.
Otherwise, it's perfect.
I think I saw his name.
All right, I'm muting myself before I say something.
There you go. Self filter here, right? Chuck, can you say hello? Unmute and say hello so I can find you.
Hello.
Hello, there he is. Hello, Chuck.
There he is.
There he
I wondered
is.
where I was.
Like one of my lost children.
I'm square number 1 of Family Feud or whatever it is.
There we go. There we go.
Here I is.
All right. Dory, are you on screen? Unmuted? There she is, unfiltered. She's talking, but we can't hear her. Well, we are here now for and we are still recording, good, because I forgot to shut it off. We are here now for our March of the Mentor section of this meeting. Are you ready? I'd like to do I'm sorry, but I'm going to read the bios of our 4 panelists for you. And I'll try to keep it intelligible. And somebody else, if you can mute maybe, so let's have everybody mute except for the panelists. And then I would ask you to send your questions through the chat. And if we have time afterwards, we will then go ahead and open up for more question and answer. Okay, so if you did have a question and didn't think about putting it, or I somehow missed your question, hopefully we'll have time to be able to do that. So we haven't done it this way before, and this is an opportunity to see how it goes and what we can do to make it better next time, or maybe it'll be totally perfect, right? Anyway, first off, and in no particular order, I have Bernard Fallon. Bernard is a graduate from the Liverpool College of Art and the Leicester Polytechnic School of Photography in the United Kingdom. He has spent a lifetime in the visual arts as a painter, teacher, and photographer. Bernard's strong landscape, let's see, Michelle, I think I'm going to go ahead and mute on. There we go. Bernard's strong landscape and still life painting derives from his direct observation of nature and training in the thoroughly grounded tradition of fine art. His work shows not only his integrity as a plein air painter, but also his direct appreciation of the visible world. He works mostly with oils and pastels, and his paintings are in collections throughout the United States and Europe. Bernard is an artist member of the Redondo Beach Art Group and the Palos Verdes Art Center Artist Open Group. I'm not going to say that fast. He is also a longstanding member of the California Art Club and a charter member of the Pastel Society of Southern California. Yay, 13 years. In November 2021, he was part of a group show at the Palos Verdes Arts Center called Are You Thinking What I'm Thinking? This show reopened at the Malaga Cove Library Gallery in February of 2022. So for those of you that don't live in the Redondo Beach or Torrance or Palos Verdes area, these are very local areas and great opportunity for artists and shows to be put on, but may not be very well known outside of our South Bay area. He wrote a memoir, Bernard Fallon's Liverpool, to accompany an exhibition of his street and candid photography of at the Liverpool Museum Conservation Center in 2000 Center. Bernard currently teaches classes at the Palos Verdes Art Center, and we know how to get a hold of him. Now, Desmond, yay, Desmond. Desmond, my first ever pastel art instructor. Boy, was I in for a whirlwind. Desmond O'Hagan has achieved eminent pastelist status with the International Association of Pastel Societies and is a member of their Master's Circle. He is also a master pastelist with the Pastel Society of America and is listed in Who's Who in American Art. Desmond has won several awards in national and international exhibits, including IEP's convention, exhibits the Prix de Pastel Award and Southwest Art Magazine's Award of Excellence twice at the Windows to the Divine exhibition in Denver, Colorado. He has also won the George Inez Jr. Memorial Award from the Salmagundi Club in New York City. Desmond was invited to exhibit and conduct workshops and seminars at the second biennial China International Pastel Exhibition in Suzhou, China in 2016. In December of 2016, FNW Media released 4 new instructional DVDs by Desmond, 2 instructional in oil painting and 2 instructions in pastel painting. Well, I'm going to have to add those to my collection. In 2018, 4 additional instructional videos were released titled Decoding Degas. His paintings have been the subject of feature articles in numerous national and international magazines, including American Art Collector, Southwest Art, The Artist Magazine, and International Artist. Desmond teaches workshops nationally and internationally and is represented by galleries in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Isle of Palms, South Carolina, and Denver, Colorado. Thank you for joining us, Desmond.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Chuck Kovacic. Chuck, where are you again? There he is. Does everybody see Chuck?
We do.
After acquiring a BFA in graphic design with a minor in painting from the Cleveland Institute of Art, Chuck art-directed campaigns for a variety of print and media clients and detailed urban revitalization programs for communities participating in the Main Street program, sponsored by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Upon relocating to Southern California, he focused his artistic skills as a restoration expert, specializing in early merchandising ephemera and related antiquities. His disparate interests contribute to his creation of 221B Baker Street, Los Angeles, a full-scale recreation of the sitting room of the famed detective Sherlock Holmes. As a performer MC, he has staged presentations for numerous Fortune 500 companies and hosted the California Art Club's Revived Lecture Series. His paintings investigate a variety of subjects rendered in the plein air style of the post-impressionists. Chuck is an honor court member of the Mid-Valley Art League and in 2017 was named to signature status in the California Art Club. In 2016, he was the recipient of the California Art Club's William and Julia Bracken Went Award. He is a frequent exhibitor at the California Art Club's annual Gold Medal Show, as well as the Old Mill Gallery in San Marino. Welcome, Chuck. So pleased to meet you. Dory, there she is. The study of art has been an intricate part of Dory's life since childhood. She's always a dreamer and creative. Art was one thing that gave everything else purpose. Pastel entered Dory's life over 20 years ago while going through a difficult period during her husband's cancer treatment. The Cancer Treatment Center had beautiful artwork. She was drawn to the work. They were pastels. With her husband's recovery came the beginning of her journey into pastels. Dory has had the opportunity to study with many well-known artists. Her work has received many awards. The opportunity to teach art started with children. Her teaching has grown to include classes in pastels for adults. She focuses on the techniques and processes used to apply pastels with an emphasis on the elements and principles of art. Dory currently teaches pastels in Orange and Los Angeles County. And welcome again, Dory. So everybody, you have met our 4 panelists for this evening or this afternoon. And I'd like to, I don't know if there's a way to have people pin yourselves to your screens, but let's go ahead and find out what our mentors might have to say to us. And I'd like to open up the discussion today. And anybody go ahead and please feel free to answer. What should new artists concentrate on? So
Value.
panelists, please unmute yourself and chime in. I'm a new artist. What should I concentrate on?
Well, one thing might be value, because we all know that value is the start of the 3rd dimension, in a sense. So value, try value.
Yeah, I agree.
I could chime in on a little bit on that too. I think probably what's essential is painting something that you're really interested in. There are sort of tendencies of moving on to trends, and I find those have always been a bit short-lived. And so for me personally, I've always painted subject matter that's really interesting to me, and then I find my market from the commercial standpoint. So instead of painting towards a trend, like out here in Colorado, there's a lot of mountain landscapes, and sometimes I would say too many mountain landscapes. And so I think to set yourself apart, if you really paint something that really fascinates you or really gets your challenging and gets your interest, it will set you apart. And I think that's very important in this, for the lack of a better word, industry, is trying to set yourself apart.
This is Dory. I would totally agree with that. I think you have to love what you're doing too. I do think you have to have that drive to know what you like and don't like. Setting yourself apart, I think, is really important, and not feeling that you have to paint what other people are painting. I also think getting an education, practice, developing a practice that you do as often as you can put it into play. The more you work, the better you're going to be. The more you work and set goals, I think the better you will be also meeting those goals and reassessing those goals as you go. Bernard mentioned value. Yes, that's critically important. More important than color in my book. But anyway, that's what I would say. Drawing, I think, is critical too. You can come to a medium, but if you don't know how to draw, it's something that you can develop as you go, but I think it's important to practice that as well.
For me, I'm always a little baffled as to what to tell somebody that asks a question like that, simply because there are so many different paths to get to whatever you might deem a measure of success, that there are no straight lines. The paths zig and zag all over the place. I've worked with students through the mentorship program at the CAC, and engaged in workshops where there's people of retirement age or who came to it late in life. The one seeming commonality in all this is that people engage with art whatever time they choose to engage in it. I only started painting again about 15 years ago, and yet I'll meet someone who is 8 years old who is starting to sort out what they want to do with it. So I think one of the first things that I do advise someone is, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to be professional? Do you want to be semi-professional? Are you a dilettante? Is it just a hobby? How serious are you with your pursuit of this? And that really then gives me an idea of how to advise or how to engage or how to talk to the person, because I think someone has to have a sense of where they want to go with it. And that's when I can really at least step in and say, well, then you need this particular workshop, or you need this school, or you need to develop this school set. So again, there's many, many, many paths, and one question leads to another.
Anybody else have to, so you've got a new person, and basically, I guess maybe it's a little bit of guidance that will help them be able to create or know which path to at least start on, because otherwise it can be quite overwhelming.
Well, the other thing that gets overwhelming too is I think a lot of people just take themselves too seriously in these endeavors. I know certain painters and sculptors that are notorious for their horrific critiques as they savage the students, and why'd you bring me this particular piece, and this is wrong, and that approach isn't working out. And some artists in their workshops and programs are notorious for that. I don't particularly see the benefit of it, having come out of an academic program and sometime engaging in academic programs since then. What I do find of benefit is trying to make a connection with the person on whatever level that they are on, to find something of value and worth in the work that they're presenting. There's always something good there. There's always something that I learn by looking at other people's work, and having that conversation. It's a two-way exchange. So I think a part of all this is finding someone who is going to be supportive in your path and encouraging in the right ways. But again, it gets back to that first question. What do you want to do with this? Where do you want to go with it? What do you want to be with it?
Or is there a why behind there too? Why do you want to do it?
Well, sometimes none of us know the why. It's just something that's intuitive, it's spontaneous, it's there, it's always been there. It's difficult to explain. The questioning of why starts coming in when you start making sacrifices financially, time-wise, relationship-wise, where you start using whatever time you have available to these pursuits. That's when you start asking yourself why. I just spent how much money at Jerry's Artorama? I just paid how much for that workshop? I'm going where for 12 days and I'm paying how much? That's when you start asking yourself why. When you're standing out in a freezing snowstorm, like I was this past week at Bryce in Zion, in a snowstorm, in the wind. Why am I doing this? Yeah, that's when you start asking the why question. You start asking the why question when you've done 6 paintings in a row and you go, my God, they're all crap. What am I doing? And I have heard that from well-established artists. There's always the self-evaluation of why, why? And it's usually some spouse that's involved along the way that's also asking, why? Why? So That's a very, very intimidating question. Why?
Desmond, do you have your why?
Yes, I got into it for the financial security.
Perfect.
Why?
There you go.
All of that was so guaranteed. So that was the very important part of my process. Anyways, what would be another good question?
Oh, another good, well, we talk a little bit about the fact that we are as a society learning how to work in the medium of pastel. And there's these things called competitions that come up. And so maybe you've done a painting and you're thinking about, now I've got to like take a picture of it and upload it somewhere. And so now how do I do that so that my work will, at least photographically, it needs to look good when it's being online juror, basically. I don't know if jurying gets, I'm new to the competition world, so
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what's been going on for a long time with the online jurying, and then
It has.
it has. Okay, so I've got my question answered.
Well,
But what kind of advice could our panelists give us in preparation of your artwork to be able to submit for competition?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to judge quite a few competitions, and first and foremost, I would say, is do enter your best paintings. You are the sort of the gatekeeper of figuring out what is your best work, and the other side of it too. You have to realize that when these competitions are judged, it is just 1 or 2 or 3 people's opinion. It's not a perfect system. So sometimes you can have one of your favorite paintings and you feel it's a very strong painting and it may not be successful in a competition, and then you turn it into another competition and it does very well. So you have to, and I know this is difficult, you have to take a fairly unemotional approach to this. And I think that's a big part of it is you can't let those competitions get you down, because they are they're very competitive, and getting awards, I know is a great thing to have in your career, wherever you want to take your career. But I've run into several situations where people get very dismayed by the competitions, and it's just sort of part of the process. But don't take them too seriously, is I guess what I'm trying to say. It's not a guarantee whether or not your paintings are good or bad. It's just one person's opinion. So I would say put your best work in, make sure that it's photographed as well as possible so that the juror gets a good idea. Where most competitions are now juried online. So you want to make sure that you have a nice representation of your painting, and hope for the best. But don't be depressed if things don't always work out. Generally, they will. You move from different competitions. You might hit in one. I've seen that happen. So, but I know it's nice to win. So that's part of it. But don't take it too seriously, I guess, is my recommendation. And go for, once again, uniqueness. Try and set yourself apart as opposed to with the pack, I guess.
I would
We
say
have a
so. Oops. I would
Just,
say
and
also
along
don't-
that, if you could address that, panelist, is Marty has a question in the chat about, I've heard you, researching judges. Is there really any point to that? The judges do this, the judges do that, or is that just a myth?
I think it's a good idea to have a look, because if the judge is very much into abstract work that they do, don't expect realism to be necessarily favored by that judge. It's as simple as that. They're more likely to be drawn to abstraction because that's what they like. They're telling you, I like abstraction. And so you've got, you can be very cunning and you could organize a realistic painting in a very abstract way. So yeah, do research the judges, because the judges that we've had for the Pastel Society in the last few years, you can see that most of them adore realism. They adore people who copy photographs. It's as simple as that. And, you know, prove me wrong. You've got to make it less photographic than it looks.
Bernard, you're absolutely right. I will not enter any art renewal center shows because there's this whole shift to painstakingly detailed work, seemingly inspired by Bouguereau and some other mid-19th century artists that are slavishly doing these detailed portraits and landscapes and things. And I don't consider them paintings, I consider them renderings. And there's a whole economy based on this, teaching workshops and trying to get people to paint like this. Not everybody can paint like this. You can spend years and years and years of trying to achieve that, and just simply, it's not in your toolkit, it's not in your wheelhouse. But you do have to know your audience. Hence, I won't enter those shows. I'm very careful about the shows that I enter because I'm hedging my bets. I want a sense that I'm actually going to have a chance to get into it. I do look at the judges. There are some shows that I enter because I go, oh, this is great. I know that judge. They know my work. And it's something that's often overlooked, that when you submit a painting, you're submitting your entire resume. You're submitting your entire body of work. They'll say, oh, Bernard sent this wonderful piece in. Huh, I want to see what he's going to be doing next because I'm so, enthralled with the work that he has submitted in the past. And that'll give you some headwind. So you got to know your audience. And Bernard is absolutely right. Don't even waste your time taking your work to a place that you're just simply not going to get in, or that judge has some particular agenda that you may or may not be aware of. Look at the workshops that they teach, look at the other shows that they have juried. And one of my pet peeves is more and more the shows, you go to them and you'll see these wonderful pieces of art, and fully about a third of the works that are submitted look like they had been rendered by the same 2 or 3 artists. And that's because everybody is taking the same workshops, studying the same artists, trying to master the same color palette, trying to work with the same compositions, doing the same subject matter. And what Desmond touched on, come up with something that's unique and different. If it's good, it will stand out. But try to find that voice, which will aid you. Find your own voice and put that with your own work when you submit something, so that it is unique, so that over a period of time, that particular organization or that juror goes, huh, Patricia Britton, she has been submitting to this show for 5 years now. I think she's finally got it. Putting her work in. And having juried a lot of things myself, I have to tell you, that happens a lot. So keep that dynamic in mind as well. But you got to know your audience.
Good point. And I think that if a judge shows that they've actually mastered other disciplines, I think it means they're probably broader minded and more open to receiving artistic suggestions. So, if they've achieved something as a sculptor, ceramicist, metal worker, welder, etc., they're more likely to look at something different because they've done that. So that's just something else to think about.
Great answer.
And I've had people ask me, gee, how come there aren't more watercolors? How come there aren't more pastels? Is this a painting only show? And I go, you know what? I don't care. unless the thing is hanging out there that says oil painters or watercolorists or pastel artists, I don't care. I'm looking at, I don't see it as a watercolor painting or an oil painting or a pastel painting. I see it as a painting. Is it any good? Because I've seen horrible works done in each of those mediums. I've seen wonderful works. I don't care. I just want the best piece from each discipline. So I know this confounds people that want their own little space and their own, oh, I do watercolor shows, oh, I do pastel shows. Put it out there in the larger entity and see what rolls with it. If it's a good piece, it's a good piece, it's a good piece.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dory, what's your take on this?
Thank you, Desmond. Actually, it's fascinating to hear you guys all talk about this. I would agree with that. I would hope that a judge would be more diverse in their ability to look at work. But yeah, you know, if you have a judge that's looking at work and they're coming from a realism background and they're judging abstract, I question that a little bit. You'd hope that their background would give them the ability to judge it on a, you know, elements, you know, artistic elements and principles, that those things are all combined to create the work. But yeah, I find it kind of fascinating. Because my initial reaction was, oh, no, they'd be above that. But I'm sort of an idealist. But, but I think you're right. I think Desmond Bernard was right in that. And there is lately, I would say it's true, that movement towards seeing, you know, the winners of all being somewhat realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen that a lot. It's a little discouraging.
I think yeah, it's also going, I mean, this plays along with the idea of trends. And I think we are kind of in a sort of a realist trend. And obviously there's some very good paintings there too, but it's not what appeals to me. And I would say with judging, I mean, obviously we're dealing with humans. It's not a perfect system. And there are biases out there. So I would honestly recommend too is truly develop a bit of a thick skin over the concept of shows, because they can be, you know, they can kind of hit you hard. And so, you know, especially the rejection part of that, but realize it is just, you know, one or two people's opinion. And it's in the career of art, it's not as big a deal as it might seem in the beginning. I mean, it's great to win awards and do all that kind of stuff, but in the long range, our main goal is, if you want to take it to a professional level, is selling paintings. And the awards do play a part, but generally what sells paintings is connecting with somebody who wants to buy it. And in a lot of cases, they don't care if you've won awards, because they're talking about a specific piece that really resonates with them. So it depends on where your goal's at.
That is really true. You know, you go into a gallery. I've got my work in a local gallery, and they're looking for something totally different than I would consider putting in a show. You know, they're looking at it from a sales standpoint. And so if you get hung up on that, I think it's damaging in a way. So I would advise, you know, my students or whatever, you know, yes, enter shows, but keep working, keep compiling, keep working on your trade, because that's what's going to stand out eventually. I mean, as you get better and better, but don't hang, like Desmond said, don't hang everything on a show, because that is just, well, it can stop you from working.
Sure. So every time you finish a painting, you know, get ready for the next one, is basically what you're saying.
Your options up after each painting.
Yes.
Completed. You know,
some people think that way.
Yeah, you know, geez, that last one was great. So this one is going to be equally good.
Yeah, you never know.
So are there any questions from the group?
Yeah.
Hello.
I muted because somebody was trying to the background.
I'd like to point something else out when submitting. Of course, usually when you're jurying a show, you know the space, you know how many pieces you can allow into that space. And let's say you can have room for 35 works, okay? But you have 150 that are submitted. What's the cut? How do you get the 35? And what astounds me is the number of times that those that are submitting just sabotage themselves, beginning with a poor photograph. It's not cropped properly, it's out of focus, it's lit poorly, and I'm supposed to, I automatically throw those out. I don't even care to parse out and fool with it on the computer to determine if it's any good. And if I know the person, I'll usually see them in passing and say, man, you got to do something with your photography because it is killing you on the submissions. Because I hear you complain all the time you're not getting in shows. Well, guess what? Straighten out with the photography. The next thing is, it's a still life show. What are you doing sending in a landscape? Didn't you read the prospectus? What are you doing? Did you think that somehow it was so astounding a piece of work that was going to get in? No, it didn't make it. So understand that reason. There's been a lot of times when there's been ties. Geez, this piece and this piece is great, but I can only take one. Guess what the tiebreaker is? I go to the person's website to try to parse out what's the rest of their work like. Have they been struggling with something? Is this painting a breakthrough? And quite frankly, they deserve the bump of getting into a show because they've been working hard at it. And their whole body of work, it's not just the submission of that one painting. The tiebreaker is going to be the body of their work. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone to somebody's website and their website is terrible. Photos all over the place, showing everything because I'm a versatile artist. Really? Your landscapes are great, but your portraiture, don't paint anybody's face ever again, you know, because they're not up to speed with the quality of your landscapes. So I'll look at a person's body of work and I go, you know what? That's the tiebreaker. This person, great site, they're professional, they're putting it out there in a consistent manner. They're going to get in over the person that isn't doing those things. And that isn't discussed a lot, but that goes on quite a bit when I've juried shows myself and when I've juried shows on panels. It's very, very important to keep that in mind. And also, if you are submitting for a particular organization and there's a tiebreaker, well, where's this person been? Their dues aren't even paid up. Why are we even considering their submission? Well, I know it's a good submission. They haven't paid their dues in a year. They haven't attended any of the meetings. They haven't sent any updates to the newsletter. They haven't even emailed. They haven't even posted on the Facebook page or the website. Why are they even bothering? You know, they get clipped. Not understanding it's the total package, kids. It's not just you. It's not just that one work. It's the total package. It's an achievement. It's a bump to get into a show. If the juror knows what they're doing and cares about these matters, that's the inner dialogue that they've got going. Those are the questions of why this piece and why not that piece.
Wow, who knew?
You guys knew. Why?
Hey, Bernard.
Hey, you started it with the whole question. Why?
Bernard, maybe you could address the photography.
Yes, that's on the question list.
Well, there's two things, and I think the most important thing is photography for the submission, right? It has to be good, as Desmond referred to, and if you can't do it, get help from somebody who knows what they're doing. It's kind of ask the experts. But you can use cell phone cameras. They're really terrific. And the later models have got 3 lenses, and there's a reason for that. One of them is sometimes called a portrait lens, which in the old film days, you may remember standard lenses and telephoto lenses. Well, it's all about that. And you don't want to photograph a painting with the default setting of a cell phone camera, because the default setting is something like a 20 or a 28 millimeter lens, which means it's very wide angle. And as it struggles to get everything in, it distorts, so that if you're using a wide angle lens, not only are you at risk of casting a shadow, but you want to stand back so you can steady and look at all 4 edges. If you can have a setup where the painting is in a fixed position on a wall, vertical, and your camera's on a tripod, it's kind of easy to make adjustments. I used to have that setup, but I found that with the modern cameras, the cell phone cameras, I can shoot an open shade and adjust the color back to normal on my computer, because I've got everything together. I've got my actual painting here, and I've also got what's on the screen, and I can make those little adjustments. And it may not be natural the first time you do it, but with a bit of practice, you'll make it work. But you don't want to distort your computer image to make it brighter or more dynamic. So it's not the same as the original painting. So, be careful about this. And in terms of the reference material, if some people, I certainly encourage my students when we're out plein air painting is take a photograph at the beginning of the session and take a photograph at the end of the session, because it's likely that things have changed and you may not have captured or frozen the shadows in the correct position. And so, that's another useful thing about using the camera while you're painting outside. Some of you may want to paint something, and you may want to record it. Well, there's different ways of doing it, but there's another use of photography. And I see a hand up with Margie.
It's Margie.
It's Margie.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Hi.
See.
Did you have a
unmute? All right, hold on. Hi. Do
you have a question or do you have an answer?
I have an answer.
More important.
Yeah, I've got an answer. I actually live across the street from my framers. So a lot of times they will actually take the photo for me to submit. Now, saying that, I know how to take a photo to submit, but the ratio is always spot on. And I have the neighborhood discount too, so that's handy. But I thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah.
And if anybody's up in Camarillo and they want help, I'll be happy to help them.
Oh, nice thought.
Desmond, I wanted to go back on something you said that, I think I know what it means, but you said open shade, taking your picture in open shade. Did I hear that right?
Yes, open shade.
You might just clarify what that means.
Well, we have here in sunny Southern California, we have cloudy days and we have bright days. I would tend not to take a picture on a cloudy day, tend not to. But on a bright day, you do not want to put your picture out in the bright sunshine. There's all sorts of reasons for that. And I won't go into them because it's, you'll find out if you do it. So what you want to do is you want to rest your image on, if you're doing it outside, on a flat surface, table or something like that. So the sun is not shining on it directly, but you want to make sure it's evenly lit. And so if your wall is light colored, or the table is very dark, you may want to put down some white card You have to look very carefully at the edges of the picture, because if you're photographing it and it's inside a frame and you don't want to take it out, you have to consider the shadows being cast by the frame. Although normally people would take the photograph before it goes into a frame, obviously. And so you want to stand back about 6 feet and gently zoom in, so you're not influencing, and the picture's verticals and horizontals are not distorted. Does that help about open shade?
Yeah.
You could also put them on the floor, let's say, and you could look down, but obviously stay away from shadows and bright light.
Yeah, it depends. Lighting has a big effect on
It does.
Incandescent lighting, or any of the different lightings.
Yes.
Photography.
Photographing indoors in your studio might work if you've got daylight balanced lighting, 5,000 degrees Kelvin, so if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you'll have to go to the lamp store and they'll tell you. But the old fluorescents used to be very green, and I can remember shooting photo assignments, and if it was lit by the old style fluorescence, and you're using daylight film, the subject would come out slightly greenish. So you had to put on a slightly reddish filter to correct the green. It was a way of doing it. That doesn't happen anymore, because most times indoor lighting is corrected for. But you can have mixed lighting, you have daylight, incandescent, and fluorescence, which may be green or daylight balanced. And so be aware of lighting. It really makes a difference.
You could almost have an entire discussion about photography.
Yes.
The paintings, and it can be kind of a intimidating process, because it's an endless technological arms race, trying to get the best photo. I mean, I tried for years. I mean, I minored in photography at the Institute. I would shoot my images 35 millimeter film, then digital SLR. The digital SLRs are a nightmare because they can never quite determine what to focus on. So you'll have one area of your painting beautiful, nice, tight, and then other parts start getting soft, and then you have to do spot focusing, and it starts wobbling out of control. With the cell phones, a lot of the cell phones, they take better pictures because they're looking at an entire image, and they're focusing on the entire image, and they're balancing it. They're not as sensitive as an SLR. I have to say, too, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing with these photographs?
Good question.
For certain shows, the bigger shows, I take it to a place like Artworks, and they digitally scan the image, and it's perfect. It's lit perfect. I asked them, how did they figure out the lighting? Well, they've got polarizing filters to get rid of the shadows and the hot spots. And I said, I'll get some polarizing filters. And he said, no, you won't. They cost $100 a foot, and there's 8 foot of polarizing filters on each side that we're taking our pictures on the wall. And they have a flat dedicated wall that they mount the painting on, so it's perfectly flat, and they can light it and balance it. The other part of asking what you're going to do with these photographs is, with some of these higher end shows, you get in and they immediately want your highest resolution image for their catalog, or for promotional purposes, or postcards. And then you start getting hit up by all the publications wanting to feature your artwork for a fee to be a part of their issue. And you're going to have to send them the best possible image. I have a lot of friends that will, go that extra mile. It's about $35, $45 to get an image professionally digitally scanned. You have a TIFF file, you have a JPEG file. So one you can use for email and posting on your website, one you can use for publication and reproduction. And for those artists that are doing postcards, prints, calendars, reproductions across the board, you have to have the best possible quality image. So consider that sometimes a photo isn't just a photo because you're going to be using it for things other than submissions. But for most of the shows, if you can figure out how to take it with your cell phone, and this past trip, I've given up on carrying the brick that I call the SLR. It can't compete with the cell phones anymore. The only thing that the cell phones fall down on is they don't have a decent telephoto lens on them. But other than that, for the average show, I just shoot on a cell phone. And getting that lighting right with an overhead daylight bulbs, or as it's already been touched on from Bernard, getting that kind of half light where it's not in full sun without the flares and everything else, you'll sort it out. And with the digital approach, you can take dozens of photos and keep looking at them on your large monitor, because that's what the jurors are going to be looking at. They're not looking at it on their phone. They've got a nice big monitor. And understand too, that you have to average everything out in terms of lighting and color, because there's no universal calibration system on the monitors. You might have fooled around a little bit with your painting and it looks perfect on your monitor, and I get it on mine and I go, what happened to the reds in that painting? They might have been perfect when you sent it out on your monitor, but there's no universal calibration system on the monitors. So it behooves you to do everything you can to get the best possible photo that you can from your cell phone, or if it's a more important show, taking it to a place like Artworks.
Kath, should we try another subject?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, because we could
Do a whole
talk for
show on
hours
that.
regarding
Yeah,
photography. It's very informative. What role does a title in an art piece play?
Well, it should be titled. Forget the untitled number 17.
Worked for Ellsworth Kelly.
I wouldn't say it plays a huge role. I mean, you're basically in a visual business. So, I mean, I look at it as, in some ways, as documentation. I'm not necessarily sentimental. So it doesn't play as big a part for me. But it's always nice to have a title. And I would agree with Bernard. You don't want to do, painting number 17. And, as you fade away, you're on painting, 1500 or something like that. So, but I wouldn't put a whole lot of emphasis on it.
I think, though, that there's some storytelling. Is the more you know about a painting. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying I know some artists who are very good storytellers, and they have something to say. It could be a snow scene with a red barn and something like that. It's very dynamic painting, and they might have something about when my mother was young or something like that, and it's very personal, and there's something emotional hiding there. And if you're told, and that pictures, and you're told about this by the artist when you're in an exhibition, it does change the perspective of what you're looking at. It's very hard to disassociate when you've just been told it was about the death of the cat, or the something or other.
It provides a context. A
Yeah.
title can provide a context. And
I wish I'd said that. Thanks, Chuck.
There was a question on there about, I noticed on the side here about websites, that people had a question about it. And I just wanted to just make a really quick point. Friends of mine who are not in the art business, the way they view that is, if you don't have a website, you're not in business. And I think this day and age, we really are in that situation where we are all basically small business people, or large business people, depending, if you're doing millions of paintings, but it's very important from the say the commercial side of it is that you have to have a way to be get in touch with. And so, you know, business cards, websites, and it is easier now than it's ever been, because you have things like Squarespace, and it's super affordable. And this goes back, I mean, I don't want to get back in, talking about the technical side of photography, but that's how you can practice doing your photography. If you're loading paintings up on your website, you're going to get better and better at it by photographing your paintings and putting them on the website, because this is your calling card. This is what people are going to refer to when they see your work, whether it's going to be in someone's home or in a gallery or a show. Regardless, you have to have a place for them to go to see your work. And so I highly recommend, if you don't have one, get one. And they are very inexpensive now. And there's a few different platforms. I use Squarespace, and it's been very, very good and very affordable.
The website is really your portfolio, that when you approach a gallery, you can't be lugging in 15 or 20 paintings. But if you give them the access, here's my website, and they can take a look at it. And the advantage that I find with the more successful websites is, if you have one that tells a story, what are you trying to tell me about you and your work? Why are you creating these things? And I think that is something that's integral to a successful website, that you've essentially curated your own one-person show on an online web format gallery. And you have invited me into your studio, into your home. What's the story you're trying to tell me? Why are you painting these particular paintings? The ones that you selected. That's very, very, very important. And it's your portfolio, it's your calling card. And for others, it's a sales platform where they're selling all the extra things, prints and t-shirts and mugs and all the endless come-ons on Facebook and everything else, saying, I'll help you achieve $1,000 a week in sales. Yeah, it has nothing to do with art. It has everything to do with the auxiliary things off to the side. I have heard from more and more people, though, that those that tend to make a sales platform out of their website, those are the ones that also tend to get hacked. So you have to figure out how you're paying for things. Is it a PayPal link? Is it a credit card link? Because as soon as you start doing those things, you start opening yourself up to these other entities that are going to start hacking in. I never sell anything. I've never sold anything from my website. I use it as a portfolio piece. And if someone's looking to buy something, I say, look here, and we can determine what sort of things you might be interested in buying. It's a conversation starter.
Great point. Really great point. Have you had any preferences between different type of websites, or somebody had mentioned that Fazo is, very popular. Desmond, you mentioned that you are using Squarespace. Any other suggestions to pipe in? And what would an artist be looking at when they want to set up a website?
Faso is fine art. What is it?
Sales Online.
Yeah. That's a great website, or a great platform for artist websites. They have many templates. Somebody actually mentioned that in the talk or in the chat. So yeah.
I'm glad you guys are looking at that too.
Yeah.
I use Faso, and unless you promote it, that's the other thing.
Right.
It's unlikely that people will visit it.
True.
So you have to use it in conjunction with, say, Instagram, for instance. And Instagram has this smart thing where you can mention what the painting's references might be, such as landscape, still life, Southern California, kites, whatever the subject matter you might, locomotives or something, or the associations that you generally have. So that's another selling thing. Someone's fallen over, and are they okay? Do you need resuscitation? Hello.
It's the art camp.
It's Margie.
I do have a question. Let's go back to a little bit of the technical aspect of this. Somebody has a commission. It's a 20 by 26. What surface do you recommend? Talk about framing. It needs to be shipped. Should it be done with plexiglass? Everybody pipe in.
I could, well, just for as many years that I've worked and painted and shipped paintings, I've used plexiglass only a few times, and that was when the gallery had sort of insisted on it. I'm not a big fan of plexiglass. It's basically plastic. Well, it is, and it does scratch easily. So I haven't used it in a long time unless they've really made some improvements on plexiglass. I wouldn't recommend it. When it comes to shipping paintings, that's an art in itself. You really have to be very, very careful. And if you can go in and look up online, everything is online these days. And so you could maybe research how to actually ship paintings. Because it is a very important thing. And the concept of actually insuring your paintings when you're shipping them has become very costly. So it's one of those things that it's the nuts and bolts of this business that you want to be very aware of and want to be informed. And and if you can't do it, you can always pay somebody to do it. And I always ship with either FedEx or UPS. I tried to avoid the US mail because that can be a little precarious. But all of that is expensive, and those are fees that you have to push on to the consumer. I mean, you can't absorb those type of fees because they can be very expensive. But
so with that said, watch where, if you enter a show, that you have to have your work physically there.
Right.
Take note of that right off the bat.
Right. I agree.
The Pastel Society of Chicago, I had a painting accepted into that show last year, and they insisted I use a certain type of a box that contains foam and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And if I didn't use that type, I'd be charged extra. So it cost a lot of money to enter that show in Chicago from here in Southern California. But, you know, the painting was picked out as being a nice newcomer to the world of pastel type thing. And, you know, I included a photograph of what the painting looked like, which way up it was. Like I had to act, they were telling me to act step by step and follow every instruction so that they, at the end of the show, could just take it, put it back, put the foam on, close the box, put it inside another box, and ship it back to me. And I had to pay for everything. And it was a worthwhile experience. But you know, getting started and finding that box and buying them online took a bit of doing. A simpler way might be to go to Home Depot or another place like that and buy a collapsible mirror box, which comes with fantastic insides that'll actually hold the painting. And then you can obviously apply a sheet of foam core or plywood to prevent anything happening to the front or the back of the painting. And of course, Desmond, you were talking about plexiglass, which was obviously the obvious answer was you use glass as opposed to plastic. And there are different types of glass as well. There's some that is museum glass that is absolutely worthwhile for a pastel, for instance. Ordinary glass these days, not very good. And there's also a non-reflective glass that if you're not looking directly at it, it looks soft and fuzzy, furry or fuzzy. And so if you can get the museum glass, it's well worth the extra money.
I will say that
one of the great things I do for shipping material is I'll go to a Home Depot or Lowe's, go to the insulation section, and they have 4x8 sheets of insulation foam. It comes in white, pink, a light blue. It comes in 1/2 inch, an inch, and you can cut it with a utility knife. And I just cut the size that I need and then sandwich the painting between those two pieces of foam, tape off the ends. That
Nice.
sucker isn't going anywhere once you put it in the box.
Yep.
Of course, as already has been alluded to, you don't know what's happening to it on the other end. You don't know if somebody's going to get befuddled because it wasn't specifically the way they wanted it, as to the situation that Bernard ran into. And I agree, there are certain shows that I will no longer enter because they simply have gotten too fussy and they want too much money for the packaging. I know they're passing the responsibility on to me, but there doesn't seem to be any discount for their entry fees. There doesn't seem to be any payback with the lessening of their commission rate. So it's like, you know what? I'm not entering your show anymore.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. So
I notice on the chat, they asked, somebody has asked about first feature in an art magazine.
That was my next question. Thank you, Desmond.
When I first started, the art magazines were a huge part of building my career. And there were more of them back then, actually, too. There are less of them now. But the best way to approach a magazine is similar to approaching a gallery. Is you sell them, send them your best work, give them a link to your website, write a letter, or well, email, and talk about what you're trying to achieve, what they consider looking at your work or your images. There are articles that have a group of artists in them. Be very, very wary of magazines that ask for you to buy an ad when they're going to do potentially a feature article on you. You have to look at how they are making their money. Are they making it on your ad or their subscription base? You obviously want to have a magazine that reaches as many people as possible. With that being said, if you find it worthwhile to invest in an ad, then, so be it. The one great thing about magazine articles is the fact that they have longevity. What you do, and which I've always done, is I put together a black notebook or a binder. And every magazine article that I've been in, I get extra copies of that magazine. I break it down and do laminated pages and put them in that book. And I have magazines that go back into the 80s. And so when each of the galleries I show and have a copy of this binder, and then when people come in to look at the paintings, then the magazine hands them the binder and they can sit down and look and like, oh, look, he's been in this magazine. Oh, he's this magazine. In kind of a funny way, it gives buyers a little verification, or they gives them a little bit of a value to what they're looking at, because they see there's some history to it. Artists have, we all know the stereotypes, the sort of the crazy artist. The ones that have been successful that I have met are ones that are very, very serious and very businesslike about how they approach their work. I always viewed it as I wear two hats. When I'm painting, I'm strictly an artist. I am working with all the different composition, color, all that kind of stuff. But once I'm finished with that painting, I switch hats and I'm totally interested in just the marketing side of it. So magazines can be very, very essential, very important, can be very helpful in actually selling your work.
Yeah, you have to be very careful of the pay for play
Right.
publications. But one of the secrets, having worked in publication and print, is that publications need content. That's something that most people don't understand. So if you are very good at writing and you see that a magazine is looking for particular techniques or particular subject matters, if you're adept enough, you can pitch them a story idea. And if they get to the point that they trust your expertise and that you're going to be giving them clean copy, and by clean copy, I mean it's all proofread, spelling, punctuation, and you've matched their word content needs, you could have a side career generating copy for the magazines, in which case, why buy an ad? Because you've just put in a 3 or 4 page ad. And I often say, I'll do that article for you for free. The only thing I want is my name and my contact information at the end of the article. I've got a 3 page ad.
Yeah.
So it's something to keep in mind when you look at publications. Always there's always newsletters, there's always the organizations that want articles, and then you start putting together a portfolio of that, then you can start pitching some of the magazines.
And I also would recommend, you can create your own article. In the
Yes.
fact, and this point is when dealing with having a black binder in your galleries or in shows you're at, write an article, include paintings, print it off on your computer, laminate it, create your own narrative, your own story. And then anything that you've ever won, any shows you've ever been in, add that in. So you build that black binder, and that gives you, it's a sort of a little sense of credibility in the views of people who are interested in buying your work. They want to see history. They want to see some kind of, effort there. So, I mean, you don't have to have a magazine article, but you can create something similar to that. Pictures of you outdoors painting, and then do a bit of copy underneath the picture saying you were here with a group of people and all this, and then show pictures of the paintings. Be as creative with your marketing as you are with your art.
Yeah, good point.
Wow, I cannot believe it. It's 12 o'clock.
Let's start again.
We started to get warmed up and going. I couldn't even interject for a question. Thank you, Desmond, for helping me out on that. This has just been truly remarkable, and what a great panel. Just absolutely, I wish everybody please, a round of applause for our first ever online March of the Mentors and the great mentoring tips that we've received from this discussion today.
Yeah.
We do have something that we have a raffle that I'd like Marty to take over now at this point for you wonderful people that have joined us today. And we have 4 prizes that she will now call out their names. And let's see who won. Keep sending those wonderful congratulation chats.
Okay, I hope these 4 winners are going to be here. Number 1. I'm not looking. If I can read it. They're very tiny. I printed it out. Let's see, who is this? First winner is Linda Melber. Are you here?
Oh, she was here.
Are you still here?
I don't see. Linda, are you still here? Are you with us?
Are you with us? Sounds funny.
I'm sorry.
Is she on the list? Is she there?
I don't see Linda.
I don't.
Oh,
Did you-
no.
Pick another.
Okay, I'm throwing that one in the trash then.
Oh,
Sorry, Linda. Okay, here we go again. All right, next one is Anik Charon. Does that sound right? Anik Charon?
Anik, are you here? Can you unmute?
A-N-I-K. Is there an Anik Charon? I don't hear.
I don't
I don't
hear
see
her.
her in the chat.
You don't see her?
Yeah,
No.
sometimes people actually register and then they can't make it. They'll get the recording, but they can't make it.
Anik was here earlier, but I don't see her now.
Oh, that's so sad. Okay, let's try again.
This is now. Gee, I
In
might.
the
have a
meantime,
chat.
Desmond has posted his workshop in Santa Fe. I love Santa Fe. Haven't been there. I need to go there. It's been on my bucket list.
Did Lupe come back? Because Lupe just got picked.
Oh, right. Did she come back?
Did she come back? Lupe,
No.
are you there?
No, she's not here.
Okay, tossing that one. Wow, batting 0. Okay, let's try this one. Wait,
Just pick them out.
all right, here we go. Patricia Brinton. I saw her name.
She was here. Oh, I got my finger right on it. She's here.
Yay. Okay, I just want to check and make sure that the email is correct. It's Patricia A. Brinton at gmail.com. Is that correct, Patricia?
She's muted.
Can you unmute?
Patricia, go ahead and put your email into the chat and we'll double check the
Perfect.
email and we'll go on to the next person.
All right, next one. This is Joan Bacon. Is there a Joan Bacon?
Earlier. Joan, are
She's
you
here.
still here?
She's still on the chat or still on the participants lineup.
Yeah,
There she is. Hi, Joan. Congratulations.
Okay,
Great.
Joan, pressing on JAB@gmail, is that correct?
That's correct.
Great.
Okay,
Cool.
you're a big winner of a $25 gift certificate to Dakota Pastels. Okay, Carol Sutton.
Carol.
Carol, are you here?
All
There
right.
she is. Hi, congratulations, Carol.
Okay, Carol D. Sutton@gmail.com. That's correct. Let's hope it
That's
is.
correct. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, last one. Number 4 is Chris Williams.
Yep, they're
Chris
on.
Williams here?
Should be.
Hey. Yep. Thank you very much.
Yes, great.
Great. Is it cwilliams4art@gmail.com?
It sure is.
All
Thank
right,
you.
I will be sending those 4 off after the meeting. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
hooray.
And super congratulations to our panelists. We had Dory, Bernard, Desmond, and Chuck. What a wonderful, wonderful way to spend a Saturday. Thank you all for joining in. It's great to see the old friends making a bunch of new friends. And we'll be seeing you at the show. And, keep in contact, okay? I'm going to just stop the recording for now. Thank you.